Record. I guess that's it. It says recording. Yeah, I'm expecting Brenda, so I'll have to keep an eye open there. So we'll start on our backs. Brenda had requested, and a couple other people actually, something for our middles. Everybody's joking about the COVID, the COVID-19, the extra 19 pounds. So I'm going to talk about some gentle ways of building tone again through the abdominal muscles. So we'll start with lying down. You can always put support underneath your legs, underneath your knees. Remember, if you ever feel like you want a pillow under your head, instead put a folded blanket underneath your pelvis. And with your hands just gently resting on your lower abdomen, relax your arms into the floor. You can even close your eyes if you like. And just notice, first of all, without needing to fix anything, just notice how your body is breathing. Just allow yourself to sort of drop into this next hour on your yoga mat. Letting go of the events of your day or thoughts about tomorrow. So in talking about the abdominal muscles, I'm sure you probably are aware that there's sort of three sets of abdominal muscles. The deepest ones are the transverse abdominis, and they run horizontal across your abdomen. So they're right underneath your hands there. And when you gently think about lengthening your exhale, those lower deep abdominal muscles are going to be involved in that lengthening of the exhale. So play around with the next few exhales, just lengthening them. That's a normal breath in, and then exhaling, 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 and see if you can feel things kind of firm up underneath your hands there. And you can even sort of hold before the next breath comes in. And when you breathe in, that tone should soften. And then follow that with another long, slow exhale. Keep exhaling as long as you can. And then relax the abdominal area, breathe in. A couple more like that. So to me, this is the safest, gentlest way to tone up the abdominal muscles. Just this natural abdominal breathing. Each time you breathe in, the belly muscles stretch. And then with that long, slow exhale, you should feel them contract. So of course you're breathing all day long. So when we're stressed or concentrating on work or concentrating on our knitting, I even notice it when I'm knitting, we tend to get into shallow breathing. And we just don't use these lower transverse abdominis muscles. And when we're sitting a lot, we for sure don't use them very much. So you can do abdominal work strengthening even when you're sitting, walking, dancing, riding a bike, painting on a wall, anything at all. That lengthening of the exhale also helps trigger the relaxation response in the body. And It tones up your diaphragm, which is part of your core. All right, so now if you don't already have your legs bent at the knees, go ahead and add that. No, I can see I've got somebody else to admit in here. So that was the lower abdominal muscles. Now we'll work on the obliques gently again. So we'll do stronger abdominal work later, but just if you want to start off nice and easy, this is what I would do. So all we have to do is twist. So we're just taking those bent knees a little bit from one side to the other. If you like, you can widen your feet so they're about mat width apart. And just taking the knees gently from one side to the other. And this is going to get your crisscross abdominal or crisscross oblique abdominal muscles working. So you can keep your hands sort of on your lower rib cage and fingers on the brim of your pelvis and just feel what's happening. One side of the obliques will be lengthening, the other will be contracting. And then as you move to the other side, it switches. So isn't that a nice way to get some oblique abdominal work in? Any twists will give that to you. And if you want, you can also turn your head to the opposite side that the knees are going, just to get some movement in the upper back. All right. Well, let's make our way up to sitting. There, I can see everybody. So we've done the lower abdominals, and then we've done these crisscross oblique muscles. So let's do a seated twist, which is also good for those obliques. So sitting nice and tall. Remember, whenever you're doing a twist, if you can create a little bit more space between the vertebrae, then you have more twistability. So sitting nice and tall and just a nice slow spiral around, and try not to use your arms to bring you around. Instead, use those crisscross abdominal muscles to bring you around one side and then the other. For the next few, try to keep your chin right over your sternum. Sometimes you feel like you're doing big twists because you take your head around further, but let's isolate the head so it's right, it stays right above the sternum. So you should really feel this. Do you feel it, Brenda?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Especially if you hold it. Twist and hold it. And then to the other side. Whew. So that's the transverse abdominis, and then on top of them, the crisscross, and now the six-pack, the vertical abdominal muscles. And so those work when we tip our pelvis back and round our back and drop the head. So that front line, this distance between the pubic bone and the collarbone notch get closer together. So really draw your belly button in. And then when we tip the pelvis forward and lift our chest and our gaze up, that stretches. It makes it a longer distance from your notch of your collarbone to the pubic bone. This is basically a seated variation of cat-cow, which we will move on to next. But just so that if you happen to be doing a job where you're sitting at your desk, you can do exercises for all three of those sets of abdominal muscles. You could lengthen your exhale, you could do twists, and you can do these muscles, or these seated cat-cows. So let's make our way to hands and knees and try some cat-cows. So really drawing the belly button in towards the spine, keeping it lifted even as you lift the head and the tailbone up. Lift and round and tuck. Inhale up and stretch. Good. So obviously exhaling.
I'm doing that yoga class.
She's doing Jill's Yummy Yoga. So on your exhale
Yes.
is when you're tucking your pelvis and dropping your head. So you're working those low abdominal muscles as well. And you can hold that for a couple of breaths if you like. And then when you're bringing head and tailbone up, you can try taking a couple of breaths there too. So a little bit harder work for the abdominal muscles is to walk the hands forward and do a modified up dog and modified down dog. And here I want you to imagine that you've got a grapefruit just below your belly button, underneath the skin. And you want to lift and keep that big grapefruit right in next to your spine. Even as you lower your pelvis towards the floor, even as you lift it up, keep that grapefruit lifted. And then you squeeze it against your thighs when you bring the hips back. And then lift it up, keep it lifted as you come forward and down. That's the way. Good. So the next time you come back, let's keep the big toes touching, but take the knees out to the sides and let's let our bellies relax. Just let it relax towards the floor. You can stack your hands and rest your forehead on the top hand. And then fully breathe into your belly. Really feeling that belly expanding with the in-breath. Okay, Chuck has also joined us. All right. Hi, Chuck. Charlie, I mean. All right. So now this is a challenge for all of your core muscles, including your abdominal muscles, to do a plank. So easiest version of the plank is we can be on our forearms and you can stay on your knees and just lower your pelvis. And press your upper back up so your shoulder blades kind of widen a little bit. And just be here for a breath or two. And then you can lower your belly all the way to the floor and come up into Sphinx pose. And then lift the belly, squeeze the glutes, breathe. And then lower and soften the belly in Sphinx pose. So over time, you can build up how long you hold that pose. The other thing you can do is curl the toes under and lift the legs with straight legs. Well, that's too much for me today. All right. Let's come all the way up. Your choice whether you come into modified down dog or full down dog or standing down dog using the wall. Pedal the heels toward your mat. And then we'll make our way all the way up to standing. You know you're working your core muscles when you get hot. So just making some circles with the pelvis. Did you guys feel that in your abdominal muscles?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not the only one. Change direction. Okay, some side to side. All right, so that was a lot of symmetrical work for the abs. When we're standing, I want you to think that you've got elastic pants on, stretchy pants on, and they have a wide band that goes all the way around. And when we're going to do a side bend, and I want you to think of this waistband as being snug in from all directions. So it's just not just snug in from the front, but think hips get in closer together, even some movement in the low back. And we're just going to do a side bend. So we'll start off easy and then increase our complexity and the weight load. So we're just going to start with just taking, I'm going to slide my right hand down the outside of my right leg, and the right side of my abdominal muscles are contracting and the left side is lengthening. And just see how far down your leg you can go. And then press down into the feet and come up. Feeling this circumference of support, and then over to the other side. Remember, belly's coming in, side ribs are coming in, low back's coming in. A couple more each side. So we're just taking the weight of the head over to the side now. And then we're going to add taking an arm. So this time, as I slide the right hand down the outside of my right leg, I'm going to bring my left hand up onto the left shoulder. And if that's quite comfortable, then I'll take the hand and place it on my left ear. If that's still okay, then I'll take the arm over my head. If that's still okay, then you can bring the other arm up. You can bring it up part way, half arm, whichever you feel. Draw that whole circumference around your waist in. Press down into the feet and come up slowly. And take the arms down. Good. Other side. Over, hand to shoulder, to ear, over the head. Decide whether you can add the other arm, and if so, how much. Now when you go to come up, press down into the feet and feel this right side gets shorter, left side gets longer. And bring the arms down. All right, let's try tree pose with a side bend. So I'm going to take the right knee out to the side, find how far it can go independent of my pelvis. You can leave the big toe on the floor or place it up on your block or your bolster. So we're going to tip in the side of the bent knee. So you can take one arm up or both arms up. Tipping over in the side of the bent knee. Press down into your root ball, your feet, to come up. Relax the arms down. Relax both legs. So that's adding some complexity as well as the extra weight. So when you guys are giggling tomorrow, you have me to thank for working all your abdominal muscles. So the abdominal muscles don't work independent. They all muscles kind of have a partner that they work with that has to work in conjunction. And so here our lower back muscles are working together. So as we do the tree on the other side, standing on the right foot, be sort of aware not only of your abdominal muscles, but the back muscles working as well. So I'm taking my right arm up and over the bent knee side. Remember to root down through your standing feet when you go to come up. Yeah. This time I'm going to try a tree and bend to the other side. So I'm going to bring my foot up so it's actually on my standing leg. And this is going to be really challenging to go over to the opposite side. Ah! My tree is going to fall over. And then coming up, whoop, and coming out of the tree. That's very smart to use the wall. I'm going to do that on the other side. So I'm standing on my right leg. Now I'm wanting to really use the wall. And then over towards my right side.
The right side.
I'm standing on my right leg. And last time we went over to the bent knee side. This time we're going over to the straight leg side. Whoa.
You're standing.
And coming up. Whew. So that one had that extra complexity for me of balance. And balance involves a lot of core muscles, not just your abdominal muscles and your back muscles, but soles of the feet, pelvic floor, diaphragm, all those extra muscles. Let's make some circles with the arms, shoulders, get the shoulder blades sliding. All right, let's try our triangle pose. So it's another kind of a side bend, only this time we're not doing a side bend. We're going to keep this spine in its neutral position. So I'm stepping my right foot forward, turning my left foot in. And for this one, I'd like you to feel your core working. So feel these front bottom ribs and the brim of your pelvis. And sometimes I'll even just slap them a bit to get them firm. So I feel like they're working, and then I'll tip over and keep them working, only coming over as far as I can keep them both the same length. Good. So that would be the easiest there, or you could let the right arm hang out of the shoulder or rest it gently on your right leg, and or you could turn your head and reach for the ceiling with your left arm, or you could just keep the hand on the hip. Very good, folks. Anytime you like, go ahead and pat your tummy, wake it up. Press your feet down into the floor and move the pelvis to come up. So basically we're resisting gravity, right? Going over to gravity, it's going to want to collapse on my right side, but I'm having to really strengthen that. Let's try the other side. So feel, actually let's put a hand on our belly and the low back and just feel what they do as you go over. Nice. And then you can let the left arm drop straight down out of the shoulder. Right arm comes up. Very good. Make sure your throat, the front of your neck is just as long as the back of the neck. Bring the hand back to the low back and abdomen and bring it up as one unit when you come up. Good. And step the feet together. All right. Don't forget you can engage the lower abdominal muscles, the transverse abdominis, during any of these poses by lengthening that exhale. Lengthening it really it evokes all the abdominal muscles to assist in lengthening that exhale. But now I want to do a twist. So you can cozy up to a wall if you like. And we'll do the hand to big toe one because this is nice and supported. So the leg that's next to the wall is the one you're going to lift. And it's really important that you don't shorten your abdominal muscles to lift that leg. So keep your abdominal muscles nice and long as you just practice lifting the leg. And the ankles hanging right below the knee. Keep your hips right where they are and twist the upper abdomen and rib cage towards your wall. And breathe. Lengthen that exhale. And slowly come out of the pose. Nice. Good. Other side. Make sure again that your abdomen doesn't get shortened while you're lifting that leg that's close to the wall. And then with that neutral spine, and you can have lots of space in the vertebrae to twist. Really feel the obliques untwisting when you come out. Good. That one for me, for some reason, made me feel a little bit queasy. I'm going to take it a little bit easier. In fact, I'm going to sit down for a moment. Okay, so we've done a twist. So let's do a back bend. Dancer pose would be a good one to do because that's going to stretch all these abdominal muscles now. It's a back bend, so that means the back muscles are contracting and the abdominal muscles are stretching. So if I'm using the wall, I'm going to be lifting my outside leg up and then stretching the hips back and grabbing the foot or your pant leg, adding the forward fold if you like. So feel the lengthening of the rectus abdominis, the six pack. That's the way. And then take your time setting it up on the other side. Feel how the brim of the pelvis moves away from the bottom of your rib cage as you move into the back bend. So lifting the heart. Nice. Now you can really use your glutes and your hamstrings to help take that leg back as you tip forward. That's the way. Good, good, good. Remember, you can always use a strap to put around that foot too. Nice, nice, nice. Very good. Whew. Good. So we'll contrast that with a standing forward fold, only I don't want you to round your back doing it. So this is going to strengthen those abdominal muscles by resisting gravity, pulling them down towards the floor. So we'll take a wide stance, kind of pigeon-toed, and then keeping the rib cage away from the brim of the pelvis as you tip the pelvis forward. So lengthen the exhale and feel that tone in the belly. If you like, you can rest your hands on the low back or reach them towards the wall behind you. Good. So again, think about holding a grapefruit underneath your skin, just below your belly button, and you want to keep it lifted in close to your spine. I don't know why I think grapefruit. And then moving from the hinge of the hips, come up. Good. And then from here, take your hands and place them on the low back and bringing your elbows towards each other. And we'll just do a little bit of a back bend. Drawing the elbows in towards each other, lifting the chest. Good. And then round the back, tuck the pelvis. This is like a standing variation of cat-cow. And then inhaling up, elbows pressing back and towards each other. Exhaling, rounding forward, tucking. One more. Think about crunching that 6-pack down into a 4-pack or a 2-pack. And then releasing. And just let it all hang out now. Yeah. All right. Let's see how we're doing time-wise. Okay. What was I going to do there? Another twist. So let's try the pyramid twist. I'm taking the right foot forward, resisting gravity by keeping a neutral spine as I tip forward. Hands on the side ribs and spiral them around towards your right side so you can bring your left hand somewhere onto that right leg. And then that right shoulder lifts up towards the ceiling and then towards the wall on your left. And if you want, you can extend that arm up, or you can just keep it somewhere on your low back. But we're focusing on the twist. Okay. Nice, Charlie. Good. And coming, undoing the twist, and then coming up. So I just want to point out, you know, you guys are all such good students and you want to get somewhere and we're focusing on the twist. But sometimes what happens is we shorten the abdominal muscles to get the twist. Now see the shape of my back, and my stomach is all scrunched in. So I want to otherwise have my stomach nice and long when I do my twist. So it's long, it's not scrunched over. So when you go to try the other side, keep the belly long. You might not go over as far, but the whole point is to use our oblique abdominals. I'm twisting towards my left this time. And you can even think about bringing the left shoulder blade towards the spine. And the right shoulder blade moving away from the spine. That's the way. That's the way. Good. And undoing the twist and coming up. So we'll try a deeper twist, doing the crescent lunge this time. This one you need a wider platform. So I'm taking quite a large step. Scooching my right foot forward. And the same principle, I'm hinging forward from the hips, hands on the side ribs and twisting them towards my bent knee. Putting my straight left arm and pressing it into the outside of my right knee. And of course, keeping the breath going. Nice. Good. Very good form. You guys are acing this pose. That's great. Just hang out there for a while. Feel free to finish the pose when you like and rest, or just stay in it for a bit. Good. It's pretty remarkable when you get in a pose as sweetly as you guys did and are able to hang out in it for a bit. That lets me know that you're really in a good place in your pose. It's got those qualities of steadiness and ease. All right, other side. Remember to stay strong and present in the feet, the legs. Twisting the rib cage. Good. So you're twisting over the left knee. That's the way. Keep going. Left knee. There you go. Keep going, Charlie. Yeah, you got it. And you can bring the hands to prayer in front of the heart. Yep. Good. Nice. Very good with those twists, because I saw long bellies there, so that's good. Whew. Okay. Big wide stance. And hand on the low back and belly, and keep them the same as you bend at the knees. So your pelvis is coming straight down. It's not going back. Coming straight down. And then let's do yoga pec deck. So you might notice as soon as you bring your hands up to yoga pec deck, your abs really have to work here to help steady you. And then we're going to bring parallel forearms together and apart. I want you to notice how much your abs are working. And then keep those abs working as you straighten the legs and take the arms up straight. Good, and then bend the knees down, bend the elbows. Abs are working. Keep the abs working as you straighten the legs and straighten the arms. Once more. Good. Relax the arms. All right. One more balance pose here. I was thinking the eagle, but I wonder if there's, we could try warrior 3. Remember, that's one of my least favorite poses. But if I break it down, it's not so hard. So I'm using the wall again, and it's the outside leg that I'm bending. And as I tip my pelvis forward, the knee lifts and my head comes down. And then it's up to you whether you involve an arm, one arm forward or both arms forward, or whether you straighten that standing leg or keep it bent. Oops. Excellent. Brenda, that looks awesome. Whew. Good. Have you done the other side yet? I played a lot with it on that side. I'm feeling really feeble today. Let's see. Did that side. Think about all those core muscles supporting the weight of the head that's pitched out in front. Reach those arms forward, Charlie. Yeah, you got it. Good. Nice. Okay, one last balance pose just for fun. I like the half moon pose. I hope you guys have been enjoying the full moon. It's been nice and clear every night. So half moon, I'm standing on the leg closest to the wall, turning the pelvis into the room. So everything reaches away from your center of your body or your solar plexus. So feel the arms reaching in opposite directions from the solar plexus. And that lifted leg reaching from the solar plexus to the wall behind you. Very good. Adele, that looks really lovely and strong.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also a sense of reach through the crown of the head. Lovely, Mackenzie, good. So you're all able to do this half moon without a side bend. So that's great, using good core stabilizing. That's the way, good. So backs of the hands are flat. Good. Here comes my kitty. All right, let's make our way down to the floor, and we'll take a squat along the way. So sitting on your blocks or your bolster, or just do the regular squat. Come here, kitty. Very chatty. Go catch a little frog. No, don't. So just relax the low back, let the tailbone be heavy. I've got the door open from this back room here too, so I can hear the crickets and frogs outside. Good. And then we can try a little twist here. So some of us, our bellies are long, so you lean back so your belly gets long again, and then twist. Good, and then undo and come back. Long belly, draw it all in, and then twist to the other side. Can you guys hear the cricket outside?
Yep.
It's pretty loud. Good, and untwist. That's a prelude to the boat pose. Who asked for all this abdominal work? The COVID-19 workout. No, I love it when you guys give me suggestions. So it's more important that we get the form. In particular, the boat pose, you want the form of how you want your tummy to look. So you don't want it pressing out when you're doing this pose. So find where you can draw it in, where you can draw your belly button towards your spine, and then see how far you can sit back with it staying like that, not pooching forward. And that's where you want to do this. And you can just be right here like this. Other things that you could add would be to sit back further and lift your toes away from the floor. Hold at the backs of the knees, or don't hold at the knees. Each of these makes it a little bit harder. So stay where you can be without your belly pushing out. Draw it in. Don't forget to breathe. Try that extended exhale if you can. And feel those lower abdominal muscles helping you, and how it suddenly becomes a little easier maybe. Nice, Kathy. Good. That's the way. Now we'll stretch it all out. Very nice, Brenda. And we'll move into an easy bridge. So easy bridge is going to help stretch out those hip flexors. So feet and knees are hip width apart. Arms alongside the body with the elbows and the shoulder, back of the arms pressing into the floor. Lift the pelvis. You can also interlace the fingers under the back and walk them in closer to each other. Really press the feet down firmly. And then releasing, if you haven't already. Draw the knees in towards the belly and lift your head away from the floor and bring it towards your knees. Good. Release the feet to the floor, keeping the knees bent, and a couple of windshield wipers where you're taking both knees towards the floor on one side and then the other, like we did at the beginning. And you can turn the head in the opposite direction if you like. I'm trying to remember, there was one other thing I wanted to do here. Oh, I know what it is now. Yeah, so enjoy this because the next one's not going to be quite as enjoyable. Okay, and then just pause. And there is a yoga style sit-up, so to speak. And it involves, just gotta fix my hair here, interlacing the fingers behind the head with the elbows out to the sides. And you're lifting up and you're bringing your elbow and your knee together on one side and then the other side.
Not yet. A minute.
That's the way. And then rest when you like, and then move into an easy bridge again. And in this easy bridge, I really want you to be firm with your feet and feel the glutes working, the abs working, and you'll feel a bit of a stretch in the thighs. Good. All right. And now we're going to make our way onto our belly to finish with a couple of back bends. We'll start on our elbows for Sphinx pose. You're so cute, kitten. Yeah. So let your belly hang on the floor. So it's soft, and then float the kneecaps away from the floor so you feel your leg muscles engaging a bit, and then lift the belly a bit. Press down into the elbows. Good. All right, let the knees melt back down to the floor. Let your belly soften onto the floor again. And you might want to just notice how that impacts your low back. And then floating the kneecaps just away from the floor a little bit. Lift the belly. Press into the elbows. Relaxing the kneecaps back onto the floor, softening the belly, softening through the elbows, sinking, like just sinking, glutes and everything relax. And then if you have one more, float the kneecaps, lift the belly, press into the elbows. Good. Stack your forearms and rest your forehead on the top one. Take a few breaths here, let everything completely relax. Really feel your belly pressing into the floor when you breathe. And now while you're here, try lengthening that exhale again. just keep exhaling, 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 exhaling. And can you feel how your belly starts to lift away from the floor? Of course, it doesn't come off the floor, but I just want you to notice that lift that comes right before you finally have to take a breath in. And then feel the breath in, press the belly down into the floor. And then with that long exhale again, feeling it lift. Lifting, 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 lifting. Letting it all go. So when you come up into locust pose, I want you to do it, try it on an exhale. So you get that really nice support of the belly muscles. So arms are alongside the body, palms down. And you can float the kneecaps away from the floor and or the toes if you like. And as you go to float the toes, you might feel your belly already start to lift a little bit. Take a breath in and then lift your nose away from your mat. Lift the hands away from the mat, all as you exhale. Exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. And then breathe in and relax down onto the floor. Turn your head to one side. And we'll repeat that another 2 times. So using the exhale to move away from the floor. So you have that nice support of the belly. Exhaling, floating the legs, the arms, the head. Long, steady exhale. And maybe even take a breath in. Another exhale. Good, and then softening back down to the floor, turning the head to the side. Flop the legs side to side. Really relax the belly. And one last one. Float kneecaps, toes, hands, nose. Exhale. And then this time, press into your hands and knees and come up and back into child pose. Nice deep breath in child pose. All right. Shavasana. You might want to sneak in a lying down twist before Shavasana, or you could do legs up the wall for Shavasana or lie on your side, whatever you feel up to. And for Shavasana, if you like, you can rest one hand on your belly and the other on your chest, if that's comfortable for you. You might notice that the belly is a little bit more responsive, a little bit more lively, has maybe a little bit more movement. What tends to happen when we're running around or got a lot of stress going on is that there's a clenching or a tightening. And that actually ends up making for weak muscles, muscles that are holding tension all the time. So we've done a lot of twisting, squeezing and releasing, contracting and relaxing of these muscles. So you might experience a little bit better tone in them. Let's just enjoy the feeling of the breath coming and going. Letting the floor completely support your body. So feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like. If, on the other hand, you have places to go, things to do, just make a nice mindful transition back into the rest of your evening. I'm going to make my way up to sitting and turn off the recording, and I'll be available here for a little bit after class if anybody wanted to visit or let me know how they felt about tonight's practice.